Hey, what's up, all my fucking fellow degens? It's your boy at Mushroom Philly, Mushroom MMA, here to discuss UFC 268. All right, let's see what we can do about this one. Let's start off with the first fight. I'm gonna go through them quickly. You know me, I like to be concise. I like to, when I watch fights, I like to write down a couple points about each fighter every time I watch them, and then I gather those points up and I put those in my notes, and that's what I work off of. I want to thank everybody who's here live. Thank everybody who supports me all the time. I absolutely appreciate the love of the community. This is great. Plus, we make money doing this shit. How can you beat it? I love it. So let's get started. So the first one tonight we're going to talk about is Juliana Miller versus Veronica Hardy. We're going to start off on the Miller side of this fight. She's 4-1 in her last 5, 26 years old. In my opinion, I think she's still improving. She's a grappler. She's not the best striker, so she got to stick with what she knows. She's physical. She pressures. She's good in the clinch. She gets takedowns from the clinch. She's got good ground and pound when she's down there. She hunts for subs. She's durable. She got that one loss, coming via decision. There's a lot to like on the Miller side, to be honest with you. Now let's look at her opponent, Veronica Hardy, 1-4 in her last 5, 27 years old. Now she's a decent striker. She's got some good kicks and stuff like that. That martial arts stance. More experience. Obviously, she's probably fought some of the better competition. I'll give her that, maybe. A lot of red flags on this side. Where do you start? How about the fucking 3-year layoff? Not because she felt like doing other things in her life or whatever, but legitimately because of concussion issues. That's not always a good thing. When you have concussions, seriously, how hard can you really train if you're super concussion prone? Seriously, how hard can you train? A lot of, she's bad off her back. She just got married, I think, in like December or something like that. So, when she's getting married, I'm not too sure she was worrying too much about MMA. I think she was worried about her wedding and all that kind of shit. Again, lots of red flags on this side, less red flags on the Miller. Look, it's fucking women's MMA. Anything can happen. But I think if you really look at it, you just have to take Juliana Miller inside the distance is the way I'm going to play it. I actually like that play. In fact, that's going to be one of my bets, will be Juliana Miller inside the distance. All right. Let's keep it moving along. I want to thank everybody who's in the chat. Thank everybody who's watching live, whoever's going to be watching this shit in the future and 10,000 years from now. Hope you got some knowledge and hope you had time to play my shit. Make some money. All right, so the next fight of the night I want to talk about is Jai Herbert against Ludovit Klein. Jai Herbert, technical. He's got power in his hands. He's got good 1-2s. He can use kicks. He throws knees. He's long and rangy, and he's one of them guys that can actually do the long and rangy and do it well. More red flags for this guy, though, man. 42% striking defense. He's a poor grappler, so that doesn't help. His 55% takedown defense doesn't help the fact he's a poor grappler. And his 42% striking defense doesn't help the fact that he's fucking chinning. All of his UFC losses have come by finish. I mean, I think he loses his fights. I think you see where I'm going with this. On the other side, you got Ludovit Klein. I guess he's a little more well-rounded. He's got fast hands. He's got power in his hands. He's got those head kicks we all know about. He gets, he can pressure you. He gets takedowns. He can grapple when he's down there as well. He can get good top control, decent ground and pound. He's also looking for subs when he's down there. He's fought decent regional scene competition. At first I wasn't really high on this guy, but I'm kind of finding my way to like him a little bit. I think he's got more ways to win. This guy loses the guys who pressure. And I don't see that being Jai Herbert. I don't see him being able to pressure. He as well is also kind of chinny, in my opinion. I think he could get rocked a little bit and maybe even knocked out. Like I said in the beginning, Herbert does have power, but I think I don't think it's enough here. I think he's the one that's going to get knocked out in this fight. I guess Klein's the equal opportunity finisher, so I guess he can grab a neck as well. So I'm going to play Ludovic Klein inside the distance as my play. In fact, I think I may actually make that one of my official bets. Ludovic Klein inside the distance. I'm going to see what that pays. I'll probably make that one of my official bets. Moving on. Joanne Calderwood. Now it's Wood. What, the next fight is just going to be Joanne Wu? Come on now. She's 1-4 in her last 5. Against Luana Carolina. 3-2 in her last 5. Let's start off with the Wood side. She's 37 years old. I think she's the better striker in this matchup. I think she probably will have more volume here. She's got that Muay Thai style. She does her knees. She uses kicks. She keeps busy, in my opinion. I think she's lost to it and beaten better competition than what she's facing here. This is a step down in competition, in my opinion, as well. There are flags on the Wood side. Obviously, she's not, 1-4 in her last 5. There's obviously some reasons there. She's got poor self-defense. She's long and tall, almost to her own detriment when it comes to fighting grapplers. I don't know that we're going to have to, I don't know what we're going to worry about here with Carolina. I mean, look, she's long, she's rangy, she's physical. She can throw some volume as well. And I guess if somehow she gets onto the ground, maybe she ends up on top, she can maybe get some control time there as well, but I'm not seeing that. Look, Carolina's not great anywhere. That loss to McCann's just looking worse and worse and worse. I mean, at first it looked like, oh, she lost Molly McCann, but McCann's been exposed since then. It just looks fucking terrible. Look, 0 UFC fucking takedowns. And like I said, the one issue I would have with Wood is her poor sub-defense and long and tall and having problems against grapplers. I don't think there's going to be that problem here. Listen, that pretty much cancels out my red flags on Wood. So I think the only thing I can do here, even though it's shitty women's MMA and anything on earth can happen, hell, anything happens in the men's fights, but let alone this lower level bullshit. I think I'm just going to have to go Wood by decision. I think that's going to be my play. I don't know if I'm going to get to the window on that one, but that's definitely my pick for that fight. Moving on up the card, we have Jake Hadley, 4-1 in his last 5 against Malcolm Gordon, 2-3 in his last 5. Look, Hadley's 6 years younger than his opponent. He's a decent striker. He's got some power in his hands. He tries to walk you down. Then he just wants to get you clinched up or grab you, do what he can. It's a good grappler, in my opinion. He goes for subs. I mean, he only has a 40% takedown defense, but I think it's okay. He does like to play on his back a little bit too much for my liking sometimes. And but the way I see it, I think this is, I don't want to say a setup, but I would just say, you got Malcolm Gordon on the other side of this fight. He's 2-3 in his last 5. I mean, he looked decent against Makayev. You got to say that. And he looked decent against him. He can grapple, and he gets reversals. He's decent on the ground, and he fucking better be, because he only has a 10% fucking takedown defense. So he better be he better know something on the ground. And I think this fight's going to end up there. I really do. I think Hadley's going to, God, I just seen a picture of that fucking kid all muscled the fuck up, dude. He's going to grab this dude, toss him around at the side. He's going to get down. He's going to drop down. He's going to get boom. He's going to get him on the ground. I think he's going to have his way with him. Sub's probably pretty likely in this scenario as well. Because, as we know, Malcolm Gordon, he's a good hammer, a bad nail. He's chinny. I think a suspect fucking sub defense. and he only loses in the UFC by finish. They're not showcasing Gordon here, that's for sure. I'm sure they're trying to get their young prospect, Hadley, some wins, some highlight shit, things like that. It doesn't bode well for Malcolm Gordon. In fact, one of my official plays will be Hadley inside the distance. I might get myself to that sub prop as well. But I definitely like Hadley inside the distance for this one. Moving on, up the card, we have Christian Duncan against Dusko Todorovic. Christian Duncan's 5-0 in his last 5. He has no losses, but he's making his UFC debut. He's got an amateur record of 17-6. He's a good striker. He switches stances. He's Cage Warrior champion in middleweight. He was Cage Warrior champion in middleweight. He does a lot of spinning, jumping stuff. He's got good leg kicks. He's got power in his hands. He's a good grappler. He looks for subs, and this guy got cardio. He's got real good cardio as well, in my opinion. He does have poor takedown defense, but he does have a good get-up game, so maybe that cancels itself out there. Let's go over to the Dusko side. You got Dusko, 28 years old, but I don't know that he's improving every fight. You know, it's still like he's not quite in the prime, like he's almost in his prime years, but I don't think I think what we see in Dusko is what you're going to get probably for the rest of his career. I don't think he's doing much improving. He's an okay striker. He's a decent grappler. Look, I've never been high on this guy. Really, I haven't. I think there's a lot not to like about him. He's chinny. He leaves it exposed. He's got that tall man defense. His fucking chin is always out. And he's got poor striking defense up close, too. He's a decent hammer, but a fucking terrible fucking nail, man. Who has he really, really beaten? I mean, I think his wins are like, you know, lower level guys that maybe some of them probably aren't even in the UFC anymore. Poor takedown defense, man. And the list of guys beaten, not impressive. I've never been high on Dusko. I'm not going to be high on Dusko here. Again, another case. Now, I know it doesn't always go to UFC's way. But again, who in your right mind do you think that they're showcasing here? You think they're showcasing Dusko Todorovic? You know what I'm saying? Come on, they're backing this new prospect they got, Christian Duncan, and they want the guy to get a win in his debut. I think it's I hate to say the word fucking setup, but man, but it's a fucking layup. I'll tell you that. It's fucking easier than most. All right, let's all move on up the card. Muhammad Mokaev. 4-0-1 in his last 5 against Rafael Fialho. Fialho? Oh, we'll figure it out. Let's start on the Mokaev side. Okay, so there's no losses on his side. 22 years old, still improving. He's 7 years younger than his opponent. He's a good striker. He's got power in his hands. He's got a 23-0 amateur record. You know, he likes to hang on to that O, and I'm pretty sure he's going to hold on to it here. Look, he's a high-level wrestler. He gets takedowns. He's beat decent competition on the regional scene. I don't think the dude's a joke. Now, the way he was having problems getting Charles Johnson down, you know, kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't know that he has that same problem here. You know, it was a little eye-opening and concerning. I can see fading Mokaev probably down the line. I don't know that this is the spot to do it for sure. I really don't think this is the spot to do it. I mean, we'll go on the other side. Rafael Fialho, look, he's a well-rounded guy. He's a decent striker. The guy's never been finished. He's got power in his hands. He's a good grappler. He's got decent pro experience. But, man, there's some holes in his wrestling game. Watch it. There are some holes, and I think Mokaev can exploit those holes. I really do. And then you get that factor. Now, there's a factor in this. I didn't write it down a lot of my notes, but I know this. There's a lot of people coming from all these other countries flying to England, and there has to be some sort of jet lag involved in that. Look, I get this kid's. I guess this kid is somebody they want to bring up and see what he can do or whatever, but I think it might be too much too soon. Again, I don't think this is the spot to fade Mokaev. I don't think he goes through the kid, though. Like, I really don't think that he just tears through this kid and grabs something and knocks the kid out. I really don't think that's the case. In fact, my pick for this fight is Makayev, third round / decision. I think that's the way to go. I think it might go to decision. If it doesn't, maybe Makayev finishes him late. That's the way I see this fight. Moving on up the card, Sam Patterson versus Vinal Ashmaz. Sam Patterson's 5-0 in his last 5, making his UFC debut. He's kind of well-rounded, I'd say. Look, he's bigger, and I don't have much interest in this fight, I'll be honest with you. I didn't do my super due diligence on this fight. I mean, he's bigger. He tries to walk it down. He's got some power in his hands, some pace, some pressure. He's hard to clinch. He's got good cardio. He's durable. He's got a decent get-up game. Probably has more experience than his opponent. And he fought some decent competition on the regional scene. But, man, his fucking chin is up in the air. Again, another guy just, why do these guys love to leave their fucking chin in the air? Don't they notice when their opponent's trying to hit them? Didn't he figure that out yet? And he doesn't, he's a bigger guy, but he doesn't use his range well. It's a shame. There's a lot of guys in the fucking UFC that are tall that don't use their range well. I think Patterson, again, is one of those guys who just, he's going to come up in the UFC. He just doesn't use his range well. Maybe he can work on that. Then you got on the other side, you got Vinal Ashmaz. He has no losses. He's also making his UFC debut. He's 27 years old. Again, I didn't do my due diligence on this fight. When I started watching tape on this guy, the little tape I watched on this guy, I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't impressed with much. I think he's got poor takedown defense. I mean, he has some wins on the regional scene, but the regional scene he's on is lower level. He's over there in Israel on that regional scene. And, maybe someday they'll produce guys that are super high level out of there, or at least, high level. They're not close to that yet. The guy can stay over there and have no losses, but now he's going to be in the UFC. So I think that is just going to start disappearing. And I think it actually disappears on his first venture into the UFC. Again, I don't think I like a whole lot about the Patterson side of this fight. Again, man, there's a lot of suspect shit, but I just think, Patterson coming up, not being in such a low level regional scene as Ashmaz, I think is going to be the deciding factor here. I think Patterson gets it done. I know Ashmaz has no losses, and I always hate betting against a guy that has no losses for him to get finished, because you don't know what that looks like, because obviously nobody's ever finished him yet. But I think this is the case. I mean, this is fucking low level. Anything can happen. If I put this on 1 or 2 of my DGen parlays, I'd be fucking surprised. I'll have some sort of action on it. If I was to play anything, which I probably won't on this fight, but it would be Patterson inside the distance. I think that's the way I would play it. I know the guy, his opponent's never been finished and never even lost, but like I said, I think it's just a little bit of, even though this guy's not much of a step, but I think just getting to the lights of the UFC, it's a pay-per-view card. It's a big thing. I know that they're both making their debut. Anything can happen. Just please give me the Patterson side, I guess. Like, I spent way too much more time on that fucking fight than I wanted to. That's for sure. Chris Duncan, 4-1 in his last 5 versus Omar Morales, 2-3 in his last 5. Let's start with the Duncan side. So Duncan, 8 years younger, another guy making his UFC debut. He's a decent striker. He's got some power in his hands. He can pressure you. He's a good hammer. Some things I don't like about Chris Duncan. He seems a little bit hittable. He keeps his fucking hands so fucking low. Head movement is minimal. He might be even taking a little step up here, maybe. I know he had that loss to Slava, but I'm thinking that Slava loss, I think Slava loss, didn't it have something, like, didn't he, I think he changed weight. I thought where he had a bad weight cut or or something like that. But I believe it was weight related to the reason he lost that fight the way he did. But he is a bad nail as well. Wow, I don't know. Omar Morales on the other side, 2-3 in his last 5. Like I said, he's a kickboxer, a decent striker. He's got some power in his hands. He's more technical. He tries to point fight at distance. Can be kind of low volume, in my opinion. He's got decent clinch work. He's good on the ground. He's got a good get-up game in case they take him down. While he's down there, he can get subs as well. He's got more UFC experience. He's probably fought the better competition. He's back at 155, I think, where it probably needs to be. Again, a couple red flags. God, when I watched him get fucking knocked out by fucking Medic, like, come on, that's a bad fucking look, man. The guy is a bad nail, like I said earlier. I said he's a good hammer, but man, he's a bad fucking nail. He can be low volume at times too. I would imagine they're not trying to showcase Morales here. I imagine they're looking for Duncan to get a win. I have one of the guys I mess around with on Twitter and in the chats and everything, MMA Propaholic, pointed something out to me. If you take Morales by sub, it pays some crazy number. And I mean, obviously, that's very live. It's definitely not a bad call. Again, I know the UFC can't make the fights go the way they want, but I think this is more like a setup fight. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it just seems like they want Duncan to win. How does he win? I don't know. Maybe inside the distance. If I was to call, Duncan in this, I'd probably favor the inside the distance on Duncan. I'm not super interested in that fight, but obviously I'll have a play on it some way, shape, or form. Moving on, up the card. Jack Shore, 4-1 in his last 5 versus Makwan Amirkhani, 1-4 in his last 5. Jack Shore, I'd say, is more well-rounded. Decent striker, straight punches, he's got good knees. He's got an 81% takedown defense, which I like. Also, if he does get taken down, the guy is super chill on the ground. Like, he doesn't freak out. He doesn't go for any crazy motions. He doesn't try to, give up any bad positions. He's got good judo as well to even get it to the ground. He is moving up in weight a little bit. Maybe concerns me a tad bit. I know he is not really a one-shot knockout guy as well. I don't know if you want to call him pillow-fisted, but he's not a one-shot knockout guy, that's for sure. His opponent, Makwan Amirkhani, 34 years old, obviously not getting any younger. I think you look at his fights, you can see the age. The guy's got the shittiest gas tank. Terrible. My opinion, he's fucking round 1 or bust at this stage, especially in his career, and he's not going to get any younger, so it's not going to get any better. He's a wrestler to his own detriment because he's going to wrestle and fuck. If I was this guy, let him take me down, I'd get back up. Let him take me down, I'd get back up. I would tire that motherfucker out more than he's tiring me out. I think that's just what's going to happen here. And then on the other side of it, maybe in the first round he wants to be on the ground, but after that, he's got a 38% fucking takedown defense. So he might end up on the ground and not be able to do shit while he's gassing the fuck out. Shitty cardio. Look, I know that Jack Shore is not that one-shot knockout guy, but I think through attrition and it's just a building up of the volume and building up of the damage, it's going to be enough. I think he's going to get Amirkhani out there. I really do. I think he is going to get him out there, probably obviously 2 or 3. Now, if you play Amirkhani by sub in round 1, nobody can hate you for that. That's probably like his money line. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the way he wins this fight. So my pick, and I may even get a bet on this, will be Jack Shore inside the distance. I like that play. Moving on, up the card, we have Marvin Vettori, 3-2 in his last 5 versus Roman Dolidze, 4-1 in his last 5. Okay. Marvin Vettori. Let's start there. He's 29 years old. He's well-rounded. He strikes with volume. Got good cardio. He can be a minute winner on the feet. He's got way more UFC experience. He's a good grappler in his own right. He's durable. Never been finished. He's got a 74% takedown defense, something like that. And he's going to need every bit of it. Got a couple things that bother me about Vettori. Although he's never been knocked out, the dude's fucking hittable, man. The dude's pretty fucking hittable. His opponent throws with some power, too. And his fight IQ. His fight IQ scares me off a little bit. But let's go on the other side of this fight. So you got Roman Dolidze. The guy's not the best striker. Obviously has a little bit of power in his hands. He's got good knees. Because his power could be moment winning in a fight, maybe. And the power can hurt you. He can knock you out, It's great jiu-jitsu, great grappler. He's durable as fuck. Couple things couple red flags I see on his side are the poor takedown defense. I mean, I wouldn't suggest that Vettori gets on the ground much with this guy. God, it's questionable fight IQ. I still think I still go back. You want me to submit him, coach? Like, what the fuck, dude? You're the fucking dude in the ring. Like, you're the dude. This is like your record. This is your career. And you're asking your fucking coach. I mean, you got the guy obviously compromised. Finish the fucking dude. That's kind of poor fight IQ. I don't know if it's as bad as Marvin Vettori's, but and the loss, the Giles just keeps bothering me. How the fuck do you lose to officer or even ex-officer fucking Giles? Come on. What's going on there? The more and more I kick this around, I know Dolidze's on this uprise. I know he can be a killer too. But I just like the volume. I like the durability of Vettori. I know he's never faced a fucking grappler like this, a wrestler like this. I get it. I hope he doesn't fucking give up a limb or fucking his neck or anything like that. But I'm looking at Vettori to play it safe, continue with the volume, outdo this guy on the feet. Obviously he has everything for this guy on the feet. He won't have much for him, but then on the ground, it's another world. So I'm looking for Vettori to keep this thing standing as much as he can, get out of his grappling exchanges as soon as they happen, get back to his feet, and just put it on this dude and win by decision. So my pick for this fight is Marvin Vettori by decision. Moving on up the card, another women's fight. Jennifer Maia, 2-3 in her last 5 versus Casey O'Neill, 5-0 in her last 5. Maia's 34 years old. She's a decent striker, good grappler. She's a BJJ black belt. She hunts for substance. She's on the ground. She's fought better competition. I think she's a pretty durable girl. Some things I don't like about her are she has a suspect 55% takedown defense. And then when she gets on the ground, she likes to fucking play jiu-jitsu off her back. God, that pisses me off when I got this money on this chick. And she's just fucking laying on her fucking back and trying to play jiu-jitsu. No. Either get the fuck up or something. This bitch is, if you're not going to get it, get up. You know what I mean? I don't like to play it on the back too much. I'm going the other side of this fight. You got Casey O'Neill, who's 5-0 in her last 5. She's 9 years younger. She's 25 years old. She's a decent striker with some volume. She can put the pace on. She's a good grappler in her own right. She's got good BJJ. She's a grinder, I think she could win some minutes on the feet and on the ground. But, man, I don't like the red flags on this side either, really. That ACL surgery layoff, it's a long layoff for that. It wasn't a long layoff, but it wasn't long enough, is my opinion almost. I think it's a step up in competition. She's not the best wrestler. Her recent wins don't look that great in retrospect. And I think her cardio is suspect late. I think, Maia, I think, is going to put it on her. I think she's going to be able to get this fight to the ground as well. I don't want to play off her back. I want her to be up on top and see her getting top control, things like that. Hopefully, maybe outstrike her as well on the feet. I'm going to go with Jennifer Maia here. I'm actually going to go Jennifer Maia, third round / decision. I kind of love that play. Like I said, it gives me both angles in case anything happens late. I'm covered there as well. Moving on up the card, we have Gunnar Nelson, 2-3 in his last 5, versus Bryan Barberena, 3-2 in his last 5. Let's start on the Gunnar Nelson side. He's an okay striker. He's got some power. He stays at range, but he's also pretty fucking low volume. He's a technical grappler, man. That's his world. He gets takedowns. He's got good BJJ. Always hunt for subs. I get it. He's an adorable guy. He's got a 58% takedown accuracy. There's a lot to like on the Gunnar side, but man, that low volume. And to me, I know he's got some knockouts, but I think the guy is summer bust in this situation. And I know his opponent isn't the best when it comes to sub defense. I get that. Bryan Barberena on the other side of this fight is 3-2 in his last 5. He's 33 years old. He's a decent striker. He sets a good pace, got some pressure. Obviously he's got volume. The guy's good in the clinch. I love his fucking elbows and close. Loves it. Love that shit. He's a gritty brawler. He's got that fucking dog in him. He really does. Short notice. I get it. Pillow fisted. Probably won't knock you out. I get it. 54% takedown defense, and he's going to need probably more than that. Suspect sub defense. I know he gets up, leaves himself exposed, but these are things that I'm hoping that he worked on. I actually do have a bet for $100 for Bryan Barberena on the money line, and I'm going to also sprinkle a little more money on Bryan Barberena by decision. I kind of like both of those plays. I think he just has to, survive that onslaught of subs, mostly early, man. I think his pace, I think his pressure, I think his volume, I think it just builds up. I think the damage is going to build up attritionally, and it's going to make, Gunnar, I don't know how to say it, maybe a little weaker, or maybe his subs won't have so much oomph on him, or maybe, look, I need a lot of stuff to go my way, obviously. I'm picking an underdog here, but if you're going to pick an underdog, Bryan Barberena is not a bad underdog to pick. Like I said, this dude literally has that fucking dog in him. He's going to fight for my money. Trust me. And I'm almost confident enough to tell you that he's going to return my money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't bet on him for no reason. I actually think he has a chance of winning this fight. Obviously, he has to survive an onslaught. This guy's going to try to get his fucking neck on this shit a million times. I get it. Press up on your fucking get-up game a little bit. Don't give your fucking back up. Get through this fucking fight. Get the decision, because you're not going to knock him out. Bryan Barberena, by decision, is the play. And I actually have $100 on the money line already. Moving on up the card. Justin Gaethje, 3-2 in his last 5 versus Rafael Fiziev, 5-0 in his last 5. Justin Gaethje, the striker, he's got power in his hands. He hits hard. He's got that uppercut when they're in close. Them fucking leg kicks. He marches forward, tries to walk you down, throwing bombs, trying to take your fucking head off. Yep, I get it. Yep. Well, I don't know. A lot of stuff maybe not to like on his side as much as people maybe used to like on his side. I never understood the fact that a guy who has wrestling in his back pocket never fucking uses it in the UFC. I think he's attempted 1 fucking takedown in 10 fights. What is that? And man, is he taking damage. This guy has been in brutal battles, man. He's been in some fucking wars. And he's taken a lot of damage in those wars. And his durability to me just seems like to be slipping a little bit. And my Philly guy, Eddie Alvarez, he put out the blueprint. It's the body work. Because I watched the last couple of fights, but that fight stuck out so bad. how he reacted to those body shots to where he was fucking ducking his head down, and eventually that's that knee that caught him. I mean, Fiziev can maybe fucking hit him with a knee. Fiziev can fucking kick him in his head when he comes down. Fiziev can fucking uppercut him. I think at this point, Justin's fucking compromised because on the other side of this fight, you got Rafael Fiziev. This dude, he's the better striker in my opinion. His hands are fucking lightning fast too. And he's got power in those fast hands. He's a technical striker too. He'll get that thing where it needs to go. He'll throw in volume. He'll throw combos. And he's always throwing with bad intent. And he's got good leg kicks. And he can check leg kicks and deal with leg kicks well. I know Gaethje's got some good kicks on him himself. But I like the way Fiziev fucking deals with leg kicks. Another thing I like is Fiziev throws those body shots and body kicks. And when Justin fucking Gaethje just shows up like this, the blueprint's there. And he was just putting the jab out there. Just put it out there so that he could hit him in his fucking body. Every time he put his hand up like this, Gaethje just showed up, body wide open, boom, boom, 1 or 2 shots in the body. And boy, was Gaethje reacting. He was punched over to those fucking shots, man. Not a good look, man, especially against a guy who's got this much fucking power, man. And now this guy doesn't have to worry about takedowns coming his way. I think he's going to put on a fucking striking clinic on Justin Gaethje. Like I said, I think his durability's slipping. And listen, how many times do you peak twice? Unless you're fucking John Jones. How many times did he peak twice? Seriously. Yeah, I think Gaethje was a really good fighter a few years ago. I don't know that he's that good of a fighter anymore. This kid's coming up, this Fiziev, he's coming up. Like I said, he hits hard. He's going to put it on him. I actually am going to play Fiziev by knockout as one of my official bets. So let's move on to the main event. Listen, I didn't do a lot of stuff on this main event. I do have some notes, but so there was 2 fights between these guys already, and to me, it seems like Kamaru Usman won 7 3/4 of those 9 rounds because obviously in the second fight, it's obvious that Leon Edwards fucking, took that round. I mean, he got a back take. He got in the mount. He did what he had to do. He took that round. But he didn't win a lot of other rounds against this guy besides that. To me, the KO, that head kick KO, I don't care what the fuck they want to say that they planned that shit. Bullshit. That was about as lucky and fluky and opportunistic as it fucking comes. I know there are a lot of red flags this time on the Usman side. It's the first time the guy's ever been knocked out. And I mean, he was sent to the fucking shadow realm. This dude probably talked to some fucking dead relatives and everything while he was there. Brutal, eyes wide open, knocked the fuck out on the canvas. Maybe that gets in his head because nobody's ever finished him like that. He's got a 10-hour flight. Man, what's his mindset going to be like? And his knee problems. He's 36 years old. He's getting older. He's going to have a crazy resurgence. Is he ever? Who knows? But what I do think in this fight is I think he should just, obviously take the path of least resistance and just grapple the fuck out of this dude, clinch him up, and just do everything he can. I don't give a fuck how boring it is. Just win a decision. I get it. There's a lot of red flags, but I think there's a lot of pressure on fucking Edwards now. Is he going to repeat another fluke knockout? I mean, obviously it's a fight. Anything can happen. But I'm going with the fact that I think it was a fluke. That fight all day long. What's he win? 1 round? Come on now. There are people that probably got up away from their televisions doing something else, counting their fucking money, and that shit happens. That's a fluke. Trust me. That shit's not going to happen again. I don't know how much more of a run. I don't even know if Kamaru Usman fights again. But I think he wants this one. I think he at least really wants this one. I think he's going to do what it takes. I'm going to do it. I don't like betting on, main events and putting them in parlays and stuff like that. But I am going to go with Kamaru Usman. I'm going to go with Usman by decision in this one. I can't hate anybody that takes the other side of this fight. How can you? Leon Edwards, could get a fluke knockout, I guess. I guess I can't hate you for that because I've won on a fluke knockout or two in my life. So that ain't going to matter. But yeah, I guess that's it. So if you want to go as far as my official bets that I'm actually going to have on this card, I am getting to that Fiziev KO. Hope he doesn't choke him out, but Fiziev KO will be my second bet. My first bet is Bryan Barberena. I have him on the money line. My second bet will be Fiziev by KO. My third bet is going to be, where do I put it? I like Jack Shore inside the distance as bet number 3. I'm also going to go Makayev, third round / decisions, play number 4. I actually like Hadley inside the distance as play number 5. So those are my 5 single bets that I'm going to have out this week. As far as my DGen parlay, I haven't put it together as of yet. I want to make sure I got it right. I want to be able to put out a parlay that's going to make people some money. I don't want to rush it. You know me, I'm going to throw a couple props together and have a 3 or 4 leg or something like that. And you know me, I get as DGen as I can. Episode number 4 of the Mushroom MMA channel in the books. I love it, man. I appreciate everybody out there, all the support. I'm terrible at interacting with my fucking chat. I'm the worst fucking host. I'm sorry. I try. I'm an old man. Give me a break. All right, let me see who's in the chat. I do see my man Daz. I see my man Victor DeJesus and my man Justin Villegas. I love all you guys. Love everybody else who's out there watching. I absolutely appreciate anybody who checks us out in the future. If you could, please like and please subscribe to my channel. Tell a friend. Let's grow this thing as big as we can. In a couple weeks, I'm already in talks. I'm having a couple guests on my show. So I'm trying to build this thing as big as I can so I can lure all those guests in. So if you can, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell them to just like and subscribe to the Mushroom MMA channel. You're not going to go wrong. We've been making money on this channel. I had the first week was my only losing week. Hopefully continue to just keep raking in the bucks. Hopefully hit one of my DGen parlays. Man, I really appreciate this. I'm looking forward to this. Even though it's not the best card in the world, I don't know why they're making us pay for this. They could have probably made us pay for last week's card, to be honest with you. I don't know what they're getting out of this, but I think we know what they're going to do with some of these fights. I think we know that some of these fights are put together for one side to come out victorious. And there's a lot of other sketchy shit on this card. All we got to do is find our way through it. Again, appreciate everybody's time. Thank you so much for watching. I guess there's only one thing left to say, and that's let's fucking go! And violence. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody out there. Thank you.